What's happening, people? What's happening? How we doing? How we doing? It is a Wednesday. I'll put this over here so I don't forget it, because I know I will, because I'll go out the other way. It is a Wednesday. How we doing? I hope everybody had an awesome day. Hold on one second. I keep telling myself I'm going to put a note up here to say, push this button. But how's it going, fam? Again, I hope everybody had an awesome day. Lot has been going on. A lot of ammo has been wasted in Minneapolis on today. I was going to come on last night. I just wasn't feeling good. Because somebody had wrote a story. I don't know if y'all saw. There's a story. I put it on my. Hold on. I put it on my Twitter account, and dude had wrote a story, and I follow him. I bought his book, and the whole nine. But the dude that wrote a story about Barkley, Saquon, or however you say his name, Saquon Barkley. And because everybody been upset at Saquon because Saquon went to the White House, right? So everybody's upset. Everybody's upset and mad because he went to the White House. And black people are like, we're not gonna. It's this one. So I'm gonna comment. I'm gonna comment on this here. Say, Barkley committed the cardinal sin of racial politics, but not caring about racial politics. And for his blasphemings, he must suffer. Okay, that's what he wrote. Now, this young man, like I said, I follow this young man. I've met him. I've even bought his book. I've had it signed by him in the whole nine. But a lot of times, what a lot of people do, especially when they're coming from like the left or the right about something, they miss the point. And this young man missed the point. So I'll tell you exactly why people are mad. It has nothing to do with the point that he's making here. So he has to make this point because it sounds good, and it gets a lot of likes. And what it's got, it gets a lot of likes, and it gets a lot of views if he writes it this way. There was a time when, again, what a lot of people don't understand, especially some people up north, but a lot of people down south understand what I'm about to say. There was a time when, in the black community, when people would go up north, the community would get together, put money together, and they would literally send people up north, because the north was the land of milk and honey, right? You go up north, you have no more segregation, you have no more hate, you have none of that. You can go up north, and especially, everybody, black people was going up north to Detroit, right? And everybody was getting jobs and everything. But here's the deal. If we send you up, again, you go up there, you learn, and then you come back. I've said this many times, but apparently the young so-called right-wingers, black, especially the black ones, they're not getting it. They're not understanding what they're supposed to do. So they wasn't mad at Barkley because he went there. They were mad because they knew if he goes there, nothing would come out of it. He went there for himself. When black people are saying, if we lift you up, if we get behind you, if we do this here, if you get to a certain point, come back and get somebody else or go and talk about us. See, this young man who wrote this story is not going to tell you that because he don't know. He don't understand that. He's going to write it from a political stance so he can add to it, and then his readers, we know who they are, is going to read his story, right? And they're going to agree with everything he says. I read the story. You're Byron Donald. Byron's up here. Calls himself a black man. Calls himself talking about the black community. Byron don't come down and get nobody and bring him up. Tim Scott. Tim Scott's up here. Calls himself a black man. Tim Scott don't go down and get anybody and bring him back up here. Saquon goes to the whatchamacallit. Black folks feel like they stood behind him regardless of who and what his girlfriend was, who said look it up. Saquon Barkley's girlfriend said the N-word with the R. And they gave him a pass. And that's another reason why black people are upset. She's a white woman. And here she is saying the N-word. And he marries her. Black folks said, we'll give you a pass, Saquon. No problem. But if you get to a point to where you can touch greatness or you can touch, say something. Say something for us. And what we know is Donald Trump don't bring black people up to the White House is going to challenge him. He just don't do that. And y'all know that as well as I do. And we can play this game if you want, but y'all know as well as I do, I don't play because I ain't got time. Donald Trump will never bring somebody like me to the White House because I'm going to ask him whatever happened to the money that you said that you sent Mike Pence to Minneapolis to help black business. What happened to this opportunity zone that was supposed to where is it? I'm going to ask him that. I'm not going up there for photos and play golf. And I would go up there to say, where is the things that was promised? Promised. That's what black people are mad at. They don't care if he goes up there and hangs out with president. If Donald Trump called me and was like, Christopher, I need you to come to the White House, I'm going. But I'm going to stand on business. I'm not going up there to throw the football with his grandson. I'm not going up there to run up and down the White House lawn with his grandson. When Saquon Barkley went to the White House, he was not going to the White House just for himself. Go play golf, but then go and sit down in whatever room or whatever that he took the picture in and say, here's the deal. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, I heard that there was 8 shootings. I heard 12 people got shot. I need to know, what can you do about that? In Glencoe, Minnesota, the farmers are hurting. I need to know what you're doing about that. All throughout Minnesota, the elderly are being taxed out of their house. Now, can he change everything? No, I know that. I realize that. But he's the president of the United States, and he needs to know those things. If you're not going up to the White House to stand on business, then why go? No, seriously, why go? So you're basically doing what a lot of black so-called Republican influencers does. When they all went up there for Black History Month, what was they doing? They was up there taking pictures. That's all they was basically doing. Taking pictures and laughing, going, nanny, nanny, boo-boo, look at me. They didn't go up there to stand on business. Because those are the type blacks that Donald Trump likes to come and talk to him. Them type. Those are the type blacks that Republicans love. That's a fact. They always talk about, oh, well, black people on the plantation and look at them. Right there. That's another form of a plantation. Especially when the ones talk about, well, I've got a free mind. I'm a free thinker. I'm a free mind. No, you're not. Because there's things they know they can't say. They know they can't say certain things that will get them into. They couldn't go up there saying police brutality, and y'all know that. That's why you don't hear them say it. Those are facts, people. Prove me, like I said, prove me wrong. So when Saquon Barkley went up to the White House, black people are not mad at him because he went. There's a lot of other black football players that went up there. But Saquon is the one who got closest to the president, and he did not let the elevator back down to get anyone else. That's why people are mad. They're mad at him because he went. So when this young man wrote his story, and he wrote it that way, I'm going to tell him point blank, he's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. People are not mad at him in a political way. They're mad at him in a way of going, dude, you're that close to the president and you don't see no problems that's going on? You don't see the things that's going on in the streets? You don't see the fentanyl and the things that's going on that's killing the neighborhoods? Say something. If you're going to get that close, say something. It's like I was talking the other night about that little kid, C.J. Pearson, that y'all love so much. And he's talking about, well, the left hate this. No, the left don't hate black Republicans, black conservatives. What they hate are the ones that get up there and try to throw it in other people's face. That's what they hate. Nobody dislikes CJ. They dislike CJ because CJ goes up to the White House for CJ, not for the people that he could be helping. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's the problem. The problem isn't that nobody hangs out with Trump. Like I said, if Trump called me tomorrow, if he called me tomorrow and said, Rev, I need you in Washington, D.C., I'm going. He's the president of the damn United States. Now, but if he calls me on a day that my grandson has a baseball game, he's got to wait. No, I'm not joking. He's got to wait. Hold on, bro. Give me next week. But my grandson got baseball. I don't miss my son's baby. No, for nobody. For nobody. But any other time I would go. But if I'm going to go up there, I'm going to go up there on business. I've got something. You want to see me? I want to see you. We got something to talk about. Let's have this conversation. So the fight, the tension that Saquon is going through right now, listen, people, it had nothing to do with him seeing the president. Fine, play golf with him, have fun. Everybody did it with Obama. They did it with Bush. They did it with Clinton. I don't know if they played golf with Biden. But don't get it crooked. People are going to tell you stories, and I'm saying that because I go to Black Twitter. I listen to Black Twitter. I read Black Twitter. I go to the Black spaces. I hear what people are saying. Unlike other people, they just write columns and then they throw it up in the air and think that's what it is, and that's not what it is. But yeah, man, we had some crazy. Oh my God, I'm going downtown tonight because I've got a feeling some people are going to be out, and I have not seen a few people this whole winter. So I'm going downtown tonight once I'm done with this here, and hopefully I'm going to run into a few people that I know that I can talk to, and I can find out what the hell is going on. No, what is going? Y'all need to tell me what just out of 1 day, 2 days. People start going, oh, I'm gonna shoot somebody. I mean, I've got phone calls out, calling people that I know or that I can get in touch with that usually calls me right back. So that's why I'm shocked of this whole thing, because people are not calling me back, and I'm like, do I got the right? I got the right people. So I'm going downtown tonight. And hopefully I run into a few of the people that I usually am able to talk to who trust me to talk to me, so I can get ahead of this to find out what the heck is going on. When all these gunshots are being had and people are shooting and in broad daylight, that's the thing that's getting me about this. This is broad. They don't usually shoot like this in broad daylight. You don't see them firing up like this. Not like this. Not like this. Like I said, I went home. When I went home last month, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and the whole week I was home, somebody got shot. And a lot of the shooting happened right there in North Memphis where I'm from. It's like driving, going to my aunt's house. I had to literally go through that stuff somewhat. Because they're shooting Memphis up like it's nothing. Like it's no big deal. 38 people were shot. And the whole time I was home, somebody got shot. There was gunfire. Nobody goes to Bill Street anymore. We used to hang out when I was growing up, man. We used to hang out on Bill Street like it was the best place ever. Because if you got lucky enough, you can get a drink. When I was growing up on Bill Street. But Minneapolis is almost kind of, like I said, it remind me of home, South Minneapolis. North Minneapolis hadn't started up yet. Everything that happened pretty much today was somewhat in South Minneapolis. Now, you wait till North Minneapolis starts up. That's that's when you start going, oh my goodness. But I've got to go out there and find out what's going on. I know, like I said, I know a few people, and all the people I really know in North Minneapolis, but I know a few people in South Minneapolis. Hopefully I can touch base with them tonight and find out what's going on. I probably end up going down on Lake Street. If I can't find anyone downtown, I'll probably happen down on Lake Street and see what's going on. See if I can run into a few people down there, and people praying for me. Trust me, I'm good. I'm good. Anytime I go down there, like I said, I usually have a 45 on my side and a 38 on my ankle. So I got into a back and forth with a brother today. Was talking about we have a target on our backs. Black people, black men have a target on our backs, And I always tell people I have more of a target on my back when I'm walking in my own neighborhood. That's when we're talking about having targets on our back. That's when I feel like I have. If I didn't know some of the people that I know and give me basically the green light to go in areas a lot of people can't go. I go places a lot of people literally cannot go. You can go, but your chances of making it out, that's on you. That's on you. But I can go in certain places. And like I said before, I have a bigger target. I feel me. I don't know about anybody else or anything of that sort. It's the same thing when I go home to Memphis. When I go home to Memphis, I feel like I got a bigger target on my back in my own neighborhood than I do if I walk into the suburbs. I go to Punch. I love, because anybody knows me. No, I talk about Punch Pizza all the time. The wife and I, we go over to Maple Grove to Punch Pizza. There's times I forget to even put one on carry a firearm over there. But if I go to North Minneapolis or South Minneapolis, not only do I carry a firearm, I carry two. Not only do I carry two, but one of them have one in the pipe. And that ain't got nothing to do with white supremacy. That's got to do a lot with my own people. And those are facts. Not making that up. Not saying it just to say it. I'm more worried some little young punk that don't know who I am and I haven't met yet come up, who you, old man? What you doing on my square? What you doing in my area? What you doing on my block? I run this here. And I got to do my best to talk him down. Yo, look, bro. I'm known over here. Everybody go talk to some of your people. They know me, and then come back and talk to me and we can have this conversation. And until he go talk to his people, he's looking at me funny. Ready to tell me take everything out of my pockets. Then he go talk to his people and they go, yeah, that's Rev. He's good. Don't bother him. And then I get to go on my way and walk wherever I want to. But I've ran into that situation. So I'm more worried about the very people who look like me than somebody who don't. Because I can go to Punch Pizza and not have a problem. My head, a lot of times is not even on a swivel. Now we go downtown somewhere, I'm on guard. We take my grandson and my other grandson, we go down to St. Paul somewhere to go to something for the kids. My head's on a swivel. So when we talk about targets, black folks is, we're targeted all the time. I think we're more targeted in our own community than we are when we're out of our community. Yeah, we may run into something like a Ahmaud Arbery or something like that. Now, am I going to sit here and say that I've not run into certain situations where I felt that I've been racially profiled by a cop out in Buffalo? Because I worked in Rockford, in this place called Rockford, and I would have to go out to Buffalo. And I get out to Buffalo, I got police. I get out to Clear Lake, police. They never pulled me over and they never stopped me. Right? My in-laws live in Elk River. Go through Elk River. Police. But that doesn't bother me as much as it does, like I said, when I'm walking down Broadway. That doesn't bother me as much as it is when I'm walking down, 26, or I'm walking down Logan. Some of y'all know who I'm talking about. So I started yesterday basically saying, because the police found all of these guns. They got all these guns off the street, thank God. And all these guns had switches on the back of them. And I started saying, okay, we've got to do something. After what happened today, what I said yesterday is stronger today than yesterday. Because yesterday I was saying we've got to do something. We've got to make a change. We've got to make something happen. Here's the funny part about this thing that always gets me, especially about the so-called gun, the gun group, the 2A, everybody who's about 2A. I want to keep my firearms, rightfully so. But when you see stuff like this happening, and someone wants to step up and try to make a difference, because I said today, Kelly Gunderson says, "Whoa, you got to watch your wording," because I said any means necessary. I've heard 2A people use those very words, but when I use them, she says, "Whoa, that's going to hurt your support." By me saying any means necessary? Oh, well, you got to clear up what you know. I shouldn't have to clear up nothing. I need to make sure people understand by the means that I have that are necessary for us to do something about black kids getting shot and killed. See, it's funny how the 2A community have never wrapped themselves around all these black kids getting shot and killed. They ain't never come out and say, "Hey, Rev, what do you need? You need money to start something or help do this?" I ain't never heard that from, but the minute I say something, they all want to come try to jump on me. Y'all can kiss my ass. Because when babies are being shot and killed, and I'm the one standing there hugging the mother because somebody comes into the community selling guns, and y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you act like, see, and this is another thing that gets me about the 2A. Y'all know these guns. Y'all know these criminals are not walking in Cabela's, are not walking in a gun shop and buying these guns. And if they are, then we definitely got a bigger problem. But you know that these criminals are not doing that. So these guns are coming into the community how? You know how. You know how they're coming into the community. And for you to sit back. But I'm not surprised, though. Got white kids getting shot up in school and ain't nothing. You ain't thought about them kids. So why would I think that you would think about black kids getting shot and killed when your own kids are getting killed? I'm going to take care of mine by any means necessary. I'm going to make sure what happened today stops. I'm a gun owner. I need my firearms. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. I need mine more than you need yours. Because it's not every day that you're walking around trying to make a difference in somebody's life. That's not every day for gun owners. For your everyday gun owner. That's not every day. You don't have to carry every day. Like I said, I'm in Maple Grove, Plymouth, Hopkins. I'm not really, I don't carry. But where I go, I have to. So why would I do anything to take care, to mess up somebody else's right to carry? I wouldn't do that. But again, the funny part about it is, ain't nobody in the 2A ever stepped up and said, wow, all these black kids are shooting each other. This is going on. Ain't never stepped up. Ain't never stepped up. So whatever I have to do to make sure that these kids are not getting shot, not killing each other, then that's what I got to do. I'm not saying you have to do anything. Not that you would, but I'm not saying that you have to do anything. It'd be nice. I mean, we had white liberal women coming into the black community using black moms. And that's another thing that got me. Even when Moms Demand and Protect Minnesota was coming into the black community using the black mothers to get gun bills passed, you still didn't have anyone in the 2A community to step up and say, you know what? If they're going to come in and do this, then we're going to come in and do this here. But the minute someone says, you know what? Maybe what we need to do. Spike said, I've wanted to step up, but as a white guy, see, nope. I'm not going to do that, Spike. I'm not going to do that. People, I always hear that. But as a white guy, dude, I know white guys that has come in and has helped. Oh, I tell you what, Spike. We're gonna be needing white people to come in when we start going downtown and going over in North Minneapolis and South Minneapolis to ask them for their vote. That's a way you can make a change. You can come help us out. You can come be a part of that. You can come be a part of our ground game. See, the difference is, Spike, is when a lot of times when a lot of people, white people come into the community, just like they do me on here, they don't want to listen. They want to tell you. If you go, Spike, if you go read a lot of the comments that come to me, that white guys like to tell you. They don't like to listen. They don't like to hear you say, well, what we could use, or what could. They like to go, well, it's the culture. Because if it's our culture to shoot each other, and most school shooters are white, is your culture too, right? If it's our culture to sell the drugs, but it's your culture to buy the drugs, right? You don't hear me talk about that. You don't hear me talk about one of the reasons why black boys are shooting each other over there is the white people who come into the community to buy drugs, because it's white people are truly drug addicts. Correct? The reason why they don't want to go back to the 80s, see, I want to go back to the 80s. I want to go back to when Ronald Reagan said, you know what? Let's put the drug users in jail. That's where I want to go back to. I want to go back to where the drug users are the ones that we're going after. And we're putting them in jail. And then I want to see what people, because people always sit there and go, oh, you got to, what did I say? What was I about to say? But no, like I said, I want to go back to the drug users. Anyone, I've sat on Broadway, I've sat on Lindale, I've sat on Lowry, I've sat on 26, I've sat on Plymouth, I've sat on Penn, and I wrote down license plates when people would come up and stop and make their buy. Like I said, on a Friday, Saturday night, there used to be a line that's coming off 94, going on to Broadway, turning on Lindale, going up. People coming from outside of the city buying drugs. Those people I want to arrest. I want to put them in. Those people. But Spikes, I do agree. The racial aggression is definitely the experience online. People like to yell instead of talk in general. Yeah, that's true, Spike. But what I'm saying, Spike, is this here. Anybody can come into the community and do whatever they want. They really, really, really can. You just got to know who you're dealing with, you know. And a lot of times it's like, I tell you how like the Moms Demand. Moms Demand came into the black community and they taught a lot of people how to get these grants. Yeah, they did. And so they get a $50,000 grant and they put $40,000 in their pocket and somehow $10,000 come up missing. And you wonder how the Democrats got all that money to pass all them bills. I'm just saying. When you're on the streets, you know. But that's what we had, Spike. We had a bunch of white women coming into the black community. They taught a bunch of gatekeepers how to write these grants to get this money, saying they're fighting, gun violence, love up, guns down, that type crap. And they actually wasn't doing anything. So the city would give these people $75,000, right? More money than most black people ever had in their hand at one time. And then they take and, they peel off some and give it to certain people. Yeah, white women, Spike, coming into the black community with this broken window syndrome. And I don't know how many people understand what I just said. So the broken window syndrome is this here, is they believe that if anytime you see a broken window, that's where all the poverty and the problem is. So if they plant plants, they put pots and things of that sort all around this area to beautify this area up, things are going to get better. That was just a lie. That was a way for them to get these grants to plant trees and flowers and put pots all over Minneapolis. Here this place is, it's a dump, and they're going to bring in flowers to a dump. But that's not what not what it was for, because they got all of these grants and they got all of this money. And you don't see them down there anymore. Once they got their bills passed, once they got the money to give to the Democrats to pay to get these bills, you don't see Moms Demand or Protect Minnesota, any of these other white liberal white women groups down there in Minneapolis. When people are getting shot, when people are getting killed, when black mothers are crying, you don't see them. They use them, and then they got the hell out of Dodge. That's what they did. And that's one of the reasons, Spike, why when white people come into the black community, black people look at them and go, because of a Trojan horse like that. A Trojan horse like that. And then, again, you have these people who fighting for their rights to own a gun, and black people knowing how guns are coming in the community. And we're sitting here going, wait a minute, if you're going to fight for your right to have a gun, once you get on your people who are taking a $500 gun, but then you can bring it into the black community and get $1,000 for that gun. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They selling guns straight out of the trunks, and they know it. They know it. And those guns are ending up in the hands of these people who are shooting. So if I've got a corner that's making, good $2,000-$3,000 a day, and I got a rival who want that corner, we're going to fight for it. So you know what we need to do? We need to, number one, like I said, arrest the drug users who come into Minneapolis. Arrest them. I want them arrested. We need to arrest the people who have the guns in their hands and put them in, and I'm even willing to make a deal with them. If I catch you with a gun, I'm going to put you away for 5 years. Tell me where you bought that gun and show me who sold you that gun. And if I get them, I'll give you time off. There you go. Show me who sold that gun to you. Show me the alley. I want to know the license plates. I want to know the car or the truck. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. So I'm getting three birds with one stone. I'm getting the drug user, I'm getting the drug seller, the gun holder, and I'm getting the person who's at. That's how you clean that up. You start doing that, and you can clean a lot of the problems up there. But they won't do it because they realize something, especially during COVID. If they clean up that situation down there, then that situation is going to have to go back to the suburbs. Where the drug users are, it's going to end up. That's why they close their eyes. See, the difference was before they were able to harness all the criminals downtown, right there in North and South Minneapolis. The police was able to do this here, keep them in a little cocoon, and that cocoon bursts. And the police, there's not enough police to keep them there. But now you can go down there and buy whatever you want. But see, if you clean that up, and that's how you clean it up. That's how you clean it up. If I get you with a gun in your hand and you're not supposed to have that gun, here's the deal. You tell me where you got it from. I'll lighten your sentence. But I want the person who sold that gun to you. I want them. That's who I want. Because if they didn't sell the gun to you, then a lot of stuff that's going on right now wouldn't be happening. I mean, these kids are making $1,000 a day. Pocket money. By the end of the week, they can go buy as many firearms as they want to. And a 16, 17, 18-year-old boy is not walking into Cabela's and buying firearms. They're not walking into a pawn shop and buying firearms. They're just not doing it. So the guns have to come here into Minneapolis some way, somehow. That's who I want. That's who I want. Because we can't keep sitting back and watching what happened today happen. Today, the past couple of days has been unbelievable, pathetic. It's almost like going back to Murderapolis. I lived in 1997, 98, and 99. I lived at 2729 North 3rd Street. Literally in the heart of Minneapolis. Bought a house there in 2016. 1996. We bought our first house right there in Minneapolis. 97, 98 was the worst. 97 it started. 98, and it started when everybody was moving from Chicago, Gary, Indiana, and all that their type of stuff. That's when everything went off in Minneapolis. And when they got in, because they started moving in 1990, 92, 93, 94, a large number of people start moving to Minneapolis, right? By the time 97 rolled around, they were ready to go. And my church, the church that I've been at since 1996, the beginning of 97, buried a lot of black men because they were shooting each other. These past 2 days kind of remind me of the beginning of Murderapolis. We can't go back there, right? And whatever I have to do to make sure that doesn't happen anymore because of what I saw. And if people in the gun world don't understand what I'm saying or how I say it or how I put it, I don't have time for you. I really don't, because any day of the week you want to trade, when my phone go off and some mother is crying and they're telling me, Rev, you got to get down to blah, blah, blah. And then you go down there and you praying with that mom and that mom is hurting so bad that you can't. Any day you want to change places with me, come on. Come on. I'll be more than happy to at 1 o'clock at night still be in the bed instead of hugging a mom in the rain when her baby is laying there with a tarp over him. I've had days like that. I've had days like that. So that's why I say I don't play around. I ain't got time to be dealing with foolishness at all. And anytime somebody from the 2A world who decided to say something to me on any day of the week, let me know. But until and as long as you're going to stay on here and be a computer warrior and say all of this here and somebody come out, oh, I'm the wrong one. I keep telling y'all that. I'm the wrong one. Dude says to me today, what did he get mad? He got mad at me for something. Oh, well, if you're going to talk to people like that, Rev, then I'm not going to vote. Oh, fine. But let me make sure y'all understand something. If you throw a stone my way, please don't turn around and act like you didn't do it, because more likely the same stone that you threw at me is you're going to get hit in the back of the head with. Throw it, be ready for it to come back. But you're not going to talk to me just some anyway. It's just not going to work that way. We're not going down that road. We're not going. They be talking about, oh, but you got to turn the other. I'm not turning nothing. I've got two cheeks that I'll turn up to you, but these cheeks are not being turned. Not happening. We can have conversations. I love having conversations with people. It's just when you get stupid. You get stupid and start calling me names and saying stupid stuff, then I roll right. I roll right around, right along with you. I get just as stupid as you get, with no problem at all. I have no problem in doing that at all. So I was trying to figure out, or trying to get somebody to explain to me, with this bill, I guess they're trying to pass, which I'm gonna look at. Well, my wife, she does human resources, and so I was asking her about it. The whole situation with bus drivers, and in the wintertime, in the summertime, about them getting paid, this bill or whatever they got going on. They're fighting at the Capitol about a bill to pay people and stuff like that. I'm trying to figure that out. So, hey, if somebody knows about that, or if somebody can, because I can go to the Democrats and they're going to tell me something, and then I can go to Republicans and they're going to tell me something, and it's never because I've done it before, and it never lines up. It never lines up. It never do. So I'm just saying, if somebody knows about that, if somebody got some 411 on that, some information, if please, ma'am and sir, get with me and let me know, because I'm trying to understand what's going on with this situation. If one side is sitting there saying we're going to take money from somebody, and if the other side is sitting there saying we want to make sure these people are getting paid. And I think we can guess which side is which, because it's usually the same. The one side is telling you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and the other side is sitting there going, we'll feed the world. Right? But somewhere between the two nutty, there is a right way of doing things. And we will never, with them two doing what they do, with those sides doing we will never get to the middle of what's supposed to be done, right? It's never going to happen. I mean, they can't get along for 5 seconds over there. They cannot get along for 5 seconds over there. And that's a crying shame. That's why we never get anything done in Minnesota. And that's why when the minute one gets into power, the other one starts doing stupid stuff. And who loses out? Taxpayers. Taxpayers. Also funny to me is you got the Republican influencers. They had a special election, and this lady won, who was supposed to win. The Democrats really didn't put that much money into that area because they wasn't going to win. Period, point blank. Sure, you run a candidate, but you know. And then the Republicans are running around here like, it was a landslide and they blew this out of the water and, oh my God, we can't believe we won. They knew they was going to win. That's what it cracks me, especially these so-called influencers, especially the ones here in Minnesota. If they ever start telling the truth, man, y'all would be shocked. But yeah, they took that win and they tried to pump it up as much as they possibly could. The woman was going to win anyway. I was told by 3 Democrats that they were like, if we win it, we win it. If we don't, we don't. We're good. But you listen to the Democrats tell the story. It was a miracle win, and it was not. And it was not. But anyway, hey, that's my hour. That's my hour. I'm going to jump off here because, like I said, I want to get downtown probably about 9:30 and walk around for a little bit. And if I need to go over to Lake Street, then I'm going to head over to Lake Street and see what's going on. Like I said, I know a few people over there in that area. Hopefully I run into them and then I can run into some people this year that I don't know who are new to the streets, so I can introduce myself, tell them who I am, so we can get some type of rapport going, because I don't want to be blocked in any way from walking the streets or being able to go where I want to go without any problems or any trouble. So that's why I like to get down there before the summer starts. If there's a new group, I like to get to know that group and the whole nine. So therefore, we don't have a problem. My wife isn't on here begging you guys for money to get me out of jail, because that's basically what it'll come down to be. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Like I said, I don't have time to play the noise. It's like I tell people on here, I'm not playing with you because I really don't have time. I got things to take care of. I got things to do. But the bottom line comes down to it, when it's all said and done, we've got to get back to using the laws that are on the books. And the problem is Hennepin County hasn't done that for a long time. That gives these so-called criminals the okay to basically do whatever they want. They know that if they get arrested, they're not going to face a really harsh penalty. They're not going to. And because of that, they sit and say, well, we can't. They say, the Democrats sit there and say, well, we can't be mean to these black criminals. And we can't put them in jail, and we can't do this here, and we can't do that there, right? And then they go off and they do some of the harshest things to the people in their community. But then you still got white Democrats who will carry water for a criminal. And the people in the community are going, no, we're done with that one. And then he'll go and they'll slap him on the wrist and he's back in the community. It's almost as if the Democrats want bad things to happen. Did I just come up with something? It's almost like the Democrats want bad things to happen in the black community. Go figure. Because they won't arrest and actually charge people who have guns in their hands, but the Democrats are the first ones who sit and say that nobody should have a firearm. Even your good citizen. All because they are not doing what they're supposed to do with the bad citizens. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. That's what's going on. And because they won't do what they're supposed to do with the bad citizen, you get 12 people shot in one day. Unheard of. That's not culture. No, that's not culture. That's a bunch of thug criminals being thug criminals. That's people who are entitled. It's almost if we're saying in Minnesota, criminality is welcome here. It's well, matter of fact, move on. Come on, move on in. And this is what we have. See, what's going to happen is, listen to what I'm saying, is these boneheads are going to start warring with each other. And we're at a point to where in broad daylight, they were shooting each other. So that tells me that if a high see a low and they're in between people, it's not going to matter. He's just going to shoot because he thinks this person, and what it's going to take, and the Democrats are going to blame the firearm, but what it's going to take is for John Q. Good Public to get shot in order for something different to happen. John Q. Good Public has to pay the price before the price is paid by Z criminal. Are you following what I'm saying? Somebody has to get shot. And Lord knows, don't let it be a white woman. Oh my God. Y'all know, don't act like. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Because if that happens, all hell's going to break loose. But that's what has to happen. Your everyday woman pushing a baby stroller going into a CVS in North Minneapolis or South Minneapolis, if she gets shot, then now It's time for Mayor Fry to stop making videos telling lies. It's time for Tim Walz to stop running around the country telling lies. It's time for Peggy Flanagan to actually do something. It's time for the city council to stop being ignorant as they are and make a difference. And it's time for the community itself to come together and stop fighting over these nickel and dime things that being held over your head, and you're fighting each other for little bitty money bags that are out there. All that has happened. We thought it would happen with George Floyd, but George Floyd turned into the biggest moneymaker ever. People got paid. Black Lives Matter, that low down, dirty scoundrel of a group walked out of here with bags of money and ain't done nothing for nobody. Nothing for nobody. And the local little Black Lives Matter, which I was a part of, got nothing. They were poor as poor can be. But everybody what came in here, everybody got their bag of money, and everybody left. And look at what Minneapolis looked like. Left. But it is what it is, man. So we have a choice. We can keep doing what we're doing. And then when it get out in the suburbs, which I told y'all in 2019, Target in Plymouth is Target. Go for yourself. Go to Target in Plymouth. Because I guarantee you, by next summer, you're going to have to go find somebody to get items in Target in Plymouth. I told y'all that before. Right? Told you that before. Check the bloggers. Check the police bloggers and see if I'm right or not. But I think I've been dead on. I think I've been dead on with everything that I have said. Everything that I've said. I told you guys 2 years ago. I said, check your receipt. 2 years ago, I said this. I said, if you're in Plymouth, if you're in Hopkins, if you're in Maple Grove, if you're in Crystal, if you're in New Hope, if you're anywhere in the Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, I said 2 years ago, check your receipt. Always check your receipt. And then I wanted them to check their receipts now, because what I do know is when they start stealing out of these stores to go sell that product, because that's how Walgreens on Broadway shut down. They was stealing so fast from that store they couldn't keep up. From the Walgreens, they go in there and they buy. They'll steal a whole thing of Tide, $20. Come outside the door, walk 3 steps down on Broadway, and sell that $20 Tide for $10. Take that $10, go to the bus stop right there on Broadway and Lindale, and buy their drugs. That's the truth. And anything else they stole out of Walgreens, they sell it right there in front of the store, and people will buy it. And they just walk right up the street and get their drugs. Then they close Walgreens, right? Then what was next? The Aldis. They was stealing out of Aldis like you wouldn't believe. They had to close Aldis. So those two are gone. Then they went over to Brooklyn Park Raided Walgreens. Walmart. What happened to what? Think about it. Walmart. They raided Walmart. Walmart closes. So where are they going now? Yeah. They got to come out to see you. They got to go to a Walgreens somewhere. And it's in your area. Mark my word. But that Target in Plymouth. Oh, Hilltop. That one too. So if you're in one of those areas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, fam, I got to get out of here because I'm heading downtown. That's where I'm going now. So I can find out what's going on with all of this here crap that's happening with these shootings and things of that sort. So I'm going to head down there, and I will more than likely see you guys on Friday, right? So don't, ma'am and sir, don't forget about my friend Dexter Taylor. Some of you know who he is. Some of you don't. If you have an opportunity to type in your computer, Dexter Taylor, read about his story, read about how he is what I call a political prisoner. The Democratic Party took a black man, figured out how to railroad him and gave him 10 years. Dexter Taylor is now sitting in prison for 10 years. I'm not going to tell you what he did because y'all sit here and go, Rev's lying. There's no way in the world I want you to read it for yourself. So therefore you can go, oh, wow, that is nuts. So that's why I asked that if you know a big influencer or Pam Bundy, if you can send her an email, if we can send things out to anybody who maybe can get Dexter's name in front of someone important, and we can get this man out of prison because he should not be in prison. He should not be in prison. But with that said, we're going to end the night like we always end the night, realizing and understanding that we serve a mighty God, an awesome God, an on-time God, a real God, a compassionate God, a God that turned around and said, because he's so good, that with his grace and his mercy, he saved a wretch like you. Somebody who's done things that shouldn't have been done. You know it shouldn't be done. Somebody who stabbed people in the back. You know you shouldn't have done it. Somebody who's been an alcoholic, a drug user, somebody who's been an adultery, some of everything. But yet and still, we serve an almighty God who said, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm not even going to charge that to you. I'll charge that to my son. And that's what he did. And here you are still a sinner, but yet and still he's able to love you more than anything. God is good, y'all. All the time. And all the time, God is good. Always remember that. And because he's so good to you and I, because he's protected us from things that we don't even realize that he protected us from. Enemies that done things that he didn't even let it hit you. Arrows that came at you that he blocked. Swords that probably came down on your back you didn't even see, and he made sure it never done anything to you. That God is the one that I'm talking about. And because he's so good and because he loves us so much, that should put a smile on your face. And y'all know what we do with those smiles. We take those smiles out and we smile at somebody. So somebody smile back at you. Hey, God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you on Friday. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all have a good night. Peace.